In this course, you will learn in just 2 hours how to farm perpetual crypto airdrops. You spend fees on platforms and you get tokens from these, where your tokens are worth considerably more than the fees you paid. I have created a website with all of the opportunities for you to access easily, along with tutorials for each one of these. I've also created a points calculator so you can turn your points into actual value, so you know how much profitable you are and what you can expect from each of these platforms. Finally, I have created a free airdrop Excel guide where you can track all of the airdrops that I'm doing and all of the actions you need to do, as well as with an interactive ranking that changes pretty much every single week, so you can always be on top of your game and farm only the best airdrops. This is a free course and I would love to see you inside of it. Okay guys, welcome back to another airdrops video. Today I'm going to show you how you can turn $1,000 into $7,000 within 5 months or even $15,000 within 5 months. Again, if you don't have $1,000 to try this out, or you want to risk a smaller amount or do whatever you want, this is not financial advice. I'm just showing you how I'm going to do this. You could literally just change this number, multiply it by 7 to have the minimum scenario, or multiply it by 15 to have the maximum scenario. So the more bullish you are on crypto and on the market, structure in 5 months from now, the more this price changes. Now, the bearish prices I have set with the current value in the crypto market. Currently, crypto are a little bit of the top. It's like 10% down from the actual top. So we're not very far away. However, for most crypto that are not like Bitcoin and Ethereum, we're about 20% of the top. So we need to go 20% up. However, I think that in about 5 months from now, these values and the values of crypto will be considerably higher than they are right now, before we're going to jump up and then we're going to crash down. So that's my expectation. I think the market is going to keep going up. We might see Bitcoin at 150 per Bitcoin, Ethereum possibly to $5,000 to $6,000, and Solana I expect it to be about $300 to $400. So the idea here is that we want to farm perpetual airdrops starting November 2025, or pretty much today that you watch the video. So the first thing is we need to select our first targets. We need to find the targets to split these initial $1,000. So a lot of people ask me, what are perpetual airdrops? I have made multiple videos. If you go inside my channel, you can click on courses or playlists and you can find this perpetual airdrops farms playlist. It has already 32 videos, and if you click view the full playlist, you see dedicated in-depth videos about every opportunity and any information you need about them. So I would highly suggest that if you find this like a serious opportunity and you want to try out my method, that you go ahead and watch the playlist. Additionally, one of the first things is that we have to find what we are going to farm. Then we have to value them. Okay, so valuing them is something very important, but also we need to know how to farm them. So before we value them, we need to know what we're going to do. So this is the delta neutral strategy. The link for this video is down below in the description, and I show you a zero risk strategy to farm perpetual crypto airdrops. And that's what we're farming. We're using this strategy to minimize our cost and maximize our returns. Welcome guys here also I have created a video that I show you why these airdrops are super valuable, why we want to do them and how everything goes. I did also a website that allows you to calculate your points for each one of these airdrops, so you can put in the prices, your points and airdrop percentages according to the video instructions or to your estimations, and you can see how much you're going to earn. Also, I have the list of all of the exchanges on the website along with a link for the dedicated tutorial, so you can go ahead and start learning about each one of these and position yourself accordingly. However, I also have this airdrop Excel guide with even more information, even more airdrops that you can check out. But let's stay focused. This is how we begin with $1,000. I have already cleared up the airdrops that you should farm or that I'm going to be farming starting from November 2025 in a very specific order. So let's say that I start with $1,000. My actual funds are about 4 times more than that to farm perpetuals. And I begin with lighter, Ajax based, which is on Hyperliquid. And that's very important to keep it in mind. And also Paradex. Why am I going to start with these ones? Because these will tokenize probably until November, until December, end of December, before the next year. So by positioning on these, I get quick returns inside December, maybe early January, and I can compound the earnings that I get, which these are my estimations. If I start farming on November, 4x for LIDAR, 3x for Ajax, 2x for Based, and 2x for Paradex. So essentially, what I do is in 2 months, I go ahead and do about a 2.5x of my money in total. So my $1,000 by farming these 4 perpetuals during that period, I expect me to yield me about $1,000, $1,750, $2,025, about $3,000, roughly about $3,000 from $1,000 initial value. So by doing this, I'm going and then I'm farming the next batch of perpetual airdrops. That will happen inside January to March of next year. That's the expected time for them to tokenize. And here we got Avantis, which I don't expect to be a huge airdrop. And this could potentially be replaced by another one. So I will put it with, I will put it with black. But I will, we could have whatever here. Maybe this is not farmable. Maybe I will not be farming this, okay? Maybe I won't farm this. Pacifica, which I already farm and I will continue farming even more heavily inside Q1 2026. Bullpen, which I already farmed this. I'm just saying you what I would do if I didn't farm anything right now. But in all honesty, I farm all of these together and extended. So with a very bearish estimate of doubling our money from each one of these, went up with about $600, $500. However, because we're farming Bullpen, which is on top of Hyperliquid, and because we farm Based, that is again on top of Hyperliquid, as we can see here, this is on top of Hyperliquid, and this is on top of Hyperliquid, we're getting also a Hyperliquid airdrop. All right, so that's very important to remember. So I expect using just a doubling of our money through each one of these perps, which is very bearish. I expect us to make about $600, $500 plus $1,000 from the second airdrop of Hyperliquid, which will be probably until Q1 2026. That's my expectation. So this is the bearish scenario if the prices of crypto don't increase and remain on the current levels. So that's my expectation. If they stay at the current levels, Hyperliquid is at like 13 billion and Aster is at 2.2 billion market cap or whatever, and their prices don't increase or Avantis price don't increase, this is what I expect. However, if the market indeed pumps, and it doesn't have to pump a lot, Bitcoin has to go to 140,000, 150,000. It doesn't have to go to $1 million. This will lead to an altcoin season where Solana, Ethereum, Hyperliquid, Sui, Aster, and all of these perpetual airdrops will make so much money and they will increase their value so much that all of these airdrops that you see here, instead of being just a simple 2x, they could potentially be a 3x, like the returns could be 3x in this case, which at the end of the day is making a huge difference into the value you are getting out of each one of these. Because the multipliers, especially if the altcoin season begins on Q4, when we get these airdrops, we could have potentially a 5-6x from LIDAR, a 5-6x from Ajax, a 4x from Based. So the initial capital multiplies 2 times. So essentially we reach our target in just 3 months, and then in another 3 months we increase even more. So you gotta understand how these multipliers play around. And if these multipliers just keep continuing inside 3 months from the first airdrop till the last airdrop we get from all of these, then $13,000 may be actually very, very bearish. So this is the strategy I'm following. Pretty much any guy inside my Discord does the exact same thing. We all value perpetual airdrops super high. We think these are going to be one of the best airdrops someone can get right now, if not the best. And this is the strategy, this is the idea. And okay, I'm actually already farming most of them. Like I've already spent this $1,000. So in my action, let me show you, I'm probably going to be burning about $5,000 as initial capital. So starting November, I will be burning about another $5,000. So I expect these with the conservative estimates to be turned to about 75,000. Okay, so that's a big deal. That's a big play. And yeah, I really think you should at least take a look at the other videos and just do your research. You should do your research on this because, you know, after 2 years in crypto airdrops and about 7 years in crypto in general, I think this is the most obvious profitable opportunity someone can find. Like, it's really a no-brainer at this point. Really a no-brainer. So make sure to check it out. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.